Ladies and gentlemen, people that clutch, Cody needs a hammer now. Squat. Never
Alright guys, a couple of low carb meals from Sunday. This is egg whites with salsa, some refried beans out of a can with salsa, and then some popped pork skins that are really low fat. Macros are awesome. Really low calorie meal here. Later on in the day, had an avocado, cut it in half and scooped out the inside and just decided to leave it as it was. And I stuffed this with canned turkey. Made a Dollar General run, so I picked up a few canned items that I don't normally have. This is pretty good, and that's just Taco Bell sauce on top. Use like half of my fats there. This is some training from Monday. I had 305 for a set of 8, and then 3 more sets of 8 going for an 8.5 RPE. So I ended up doing 3 sets of 8 with 305, and 1 set of 8 with 295. So pretty decent day. No days are great, but it wasn't a bad day for sure. And my macros are still where they've been. Low days it's 220 protein, 200 carbs, 45 fat. And then the refeed, which is every 5 to 7 days. I've kind of varied that a little bit depending on what my body weight does. 180 protein, 400 carbs, 40 to 45 fat. So that's the way things are going. And I wanted to clarify a little bit about my last video. So I talked about some experimentation plans with macros in the off season. The research on leucine content and protein synthesis is not new. Lane Norton has a lot of stuff on that.
Ladies and gentlemen, people that clutch, Cody needs a hammer now. Squat. Never
And that was my boss being my boss. Anyway, the research on that. The main thing that was new to me in that article by Dr. Jacob Wilson was about well-trained subjects gaining muscle and losing fat at the same time on maintenance calories. That was what really interested me, and that was what the article was mostly about. But I just kind of talked more about spacing protein evenly and trying to get 30 to 40 grams per meal. I've always done that. My carbs vary every meal. I don't really have any specific numbers each meal. Just kind of go with what I feel like doing. Sometimes my first meal will be really low in carbs. Sometimes it'll be kind of high in carbs. But my protein is typically pretty much the same at each meal. Somewhere between 35 and 55 grams per meal most days. And if I don't manage to split it up perfectly evenly one day, I don't worry about it too much. And protein intake, the total number is still important to me, and I don't recommend people just changing the way they've been doing it for a while. If you have a daily goal for protein intake and you're eating regular meals with a protein source, it's likely that you're going to maximize protein synthesis a few times as it is. And I just had 3 doubles with 390 on deadlifts today. Definitely not the best deadlifts you've ever seen, but it wasn't a bad day. And I just filmed 1 set. I also had some Penley rows and some barbell curls. Here's some douche flexing in the bathroom after training. Yep. Decided to show my legs too. Definitely noticing changes pretty much every day. My weight hasn't changed that much recently. Haven't hit any new lows in about 2 weeks, but definitely seeing changes. And I picked up a big box of Kim's Deli Pop. I've seen Magic Pop in some other videos. It's a little bit larger pieces, but the Deli Pop had some more interesting flavors, and that's what I'm doing now, is just showing you the flavors. So I decided to get the variety pack. I think it was 10% off and free shipping. I just went ahead and did it. Since I normally buy a ton of rice cakes as it is, Figured I would just save myself some money in the long run and use these instead. They're pretty decent. I've tried the pumpkin and the sweet potato so far. Don't have a whole lot of flavor, but they definitely work just as well as rice cakes too. And this is just some upper body training. I only filmed one set. I could have left this out of the video. Decided to show you my last set with 190. It was 4 sets of 8. Followed this with overhead press, then some rear delt inverted rows. I used a towel so that I could use a neutral grip with my palms facing in and really focus on using my rear delts as opposed to lats and upper back. And I followed that with cable overhead triceps extensions with a rope attachment. 55-cent coffee 3 times in a row. If you got a Kangaroo service station near you, it's 50 cents for coffee when it's raining, and then the tax puts it at 55 cents, so just a tip.